Disclaimer: the information provided in this comprehensive presentation is strictly for educational and entertainment purposes and does not constitute professional financial, legal, tax, or academic advising. Navigating college financing, student loan acquisition, and scholarship applications involve significant, long-term financial decisions that vary drastically based on individual circumstances, state laws, federal regulations, and specific institutional policies. We are not certified financial planners, licensed fiduciary advisors, or university financial aid officers. Viewers must conduct their own independent due diligence, research application requirements and platform privacy policies thoroughly, and consult with qualified professionals or licensed high school guidance counselors before making any financial commitments, signing legal documents, or sharing personally identifiable data with third-party platforms. Historical trends in scholarship availability, case studies of successful applicants, and potential outcomes discussed in this material do not indicate or guarantee future results. College funding is a highly competitive landscape, and success depends on a multitude of personal variables and dedicated effort. Right now, as you watch this presentation, millions of American high school students are walking blindly into a financial trap that will actively dictate the next 3 decades of their lives. From a young age, we are conditioned to believe that the ultimate American dream is securing an acceptance letter to a prestigious 4-year university. We celebrate the admissions, but nobody talks about the quiet, terrifying nightmare that begins the moment a student signs their first master promissory note. The United States is currently suffocating under the weight of an escalating student loan debt crisis, a staggering macroeconomic figure that has surged well past the $1.7 trillion mark. Let that number truly sink in. $1.7 trillion. It is an industrial complex meticulously designed to monetize your ambition and leverage your future earning potential before you even step foot in a college classroom. But here is the most controversial, infuriating contradiction in the entire higher education industry. While students and their middle-class parents are second mortgaging their homes, liquidating retirement accounts, and severely compromising their financial futures to pay for exorbitant tuition, room, and board, over $100 million in legitimate scholarship money goes completely unclaimed every single academic year. You heard that correctly. Hundreds of millions of dollars are left sitting dormant in the bank accounts of private foundations, corporate sponsors, localized community trusts, and philanthropic charities simply because nobody bothered to apply, or more tragically, because students simply did not know where to look. They are playing a rigged game using fundamentally outdated maps. Most high school seniors rely entirely on the exact same 2 or 3 massive, overcrowded, publicly marketed scholarship search engines. They cast a wide, inefficient net into a digital ocean where millions of other desperate applicants are fighting for the exact same $500 prize. It is a mathematical recipe for massive burnout, deep psychological frustration, and ultimately, a defeated reliance on predatory high-interest student loans. You might be spending your weekends submitting essay after essay, pouring your absolute heart into applications, and hearing nothing but absolute silence. This systemic rejection leads many incredibly talented individuals to believe that they are simply not smart enough, not athletic enough, or not economically disadvantaged enough to win free, non-repayable capital for college. That is a dangerous systemic myth. The reality is that your profile is fine, but your deployment strategy is flawed because you are using the wrong platforms. You are competing in the absolute major leagues of national sweepstakes when you could be quietly sweeping up massive, stacked awards in localized, highly specific, low-competition arenas. In this deep dive masterclass, I am going to expose the hidden architecture of the modern college funding landscape. I will be revealing a very specific, deeply hidden tier of scholarship platforms where the applicant pool is incredibly small. In fact, some of the databases we will explore host awards where the organizational committees literally beg high school counselors to find students to apply because they cannot find enough qualified candidates to legally disburse their endowment funds. If you close out of this video now, you are leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table and actively choosing to fund your higher education through compounding daily interest. But if you choose to stay and focus, you will discover the exact platforms, filters, and operational strategies that can alter your financial trajectory forever. In today's comprehensive breakdown, we are going to solve the single biggest logistical problem facing United States high school students and their families: the overwhelming, paralyzing confusion of finding legitimate, high-yield scholarships without falling victim to predatory data harvesting scams. The internet is heavily littered with sophisticated, deceptive websites that masquerade as helpful scholarship search engines, but their true underlying business model is entirely parasitic. They exist solely to farm your personal information, your email address, your physical location, and your phone number to sell to third-party marketers and aggressive student loan aggregators. We are entirely cutting through that malicious noise today. We are going to provide you with a meticulously vetted, historically proven roster of the absolute best, highest integrity scholarship websites tailored specifically for the modern American applicant. This is not going to be a superficial, rapid-fire list of random web links. We are going to deeply dissect historical trends of scholarship disbursement across different platforms. We will analyze detailed case studies of how successful debt-free graduates routed their digital searches, and we will provide rigorous step-by-step methodologies for maximizing your digital footprint on each specific platform. We will strategically categorize these websites based on your highly unique profile. Whether you are a high-achieving academic scholar with a perfect grade point average, a first-generation college student navigating the system entirely alone, an incredible visual artist, a regional athlete, or someone who deeply struggles with standardized testing but possesses undeniable community leadership and volunteer skills, there is a specific database optimized precisely for your background. You will learn how to identify the critical structural differences between national sweepstakes scholarships, which often function as mere data collection lotteries with fractions of a % win rates, and localized merit or need-based search aggregates that offer a dramatically higher probability of a positive outcome. By the end of this extensive session, you will possess a highly structured, strategic roadmap. You will understand precisely how to navigate these complex databases, how to set up highly calibrated, automated algorithm alerts that feed high-probability opportunities directly to your primary inbox, and how to aggressively filter out the exhausting noise of hyper-competitive, low-return applications. We are going to fundamentally shift your psychological approach from passively hoping for institutional financial aid to aggressively and systematically securing the private funding you rightfully deserve. You will no longer waste countless precious hours scrolling through dead links, applying to opportunities that silently expired 3 years ago, or writing essays for organizations that do not actually exist. Instead, you will be armed with the exact technological tools and database platforms utilized by the minority of students who manage to graduate entirely debt-free. Prepare to eliminate distractions and take extensive, detailed notes, because the strategic operational insights we are about to critically unpack are explicitly designed to systematically dismantle the financial barriers currently standing between you and your long-term higher educational goals. Let us begin by analyzing the fundamental architecture of the digital scholarship landscape in 2026. The vast majority of high school students approach scholarship hunting with a fundamental misunderstanding of supply and demand. They flock to the largest, most heavily advertised national databases. These are the household names of the college financing world, the mega platforms that boast billions of dollars in available aid. While those numbers are technically accurate, they completely mask the historical trends of platform saturation. When a massive platform advertises a $10,000 no-essay scholarship on their front page, you are not competing in a meritocracy. You are participating in a nationwide digital lottery, where the potential outcomes are statistically microscopic. Consider a recent case study involving a typical United States high school senior named David, navigating the college application process right now in 2026. David is a dedicated student with a solid 3.8 grade point average, active in his local debate club, and aiming for an out-of-state university. Like millions of his peers, David creates a generic profile on a top-tier national scholarship search engine. He spends his entire weekend applying to 50 different Easy Apply, national-level scholarships. He clicks submit, watches the confirmation screens populate, and feels a profound sense of accomplishment. However, historical data analysis of these specific high-volume platforms reveals a harsh reality. For every single national-level no-essay scholarship David applied for, there were upwards of 80,000 to 150,000 other applicants. The mathematical probability of David winning even one of those generic awards is functionally equivalent to winning a scratch-off lottery ticket. Weeks turn into months, his inbox fills with promotional marketing materials from student loan companies rather than award letters, and David becomes completely demoralized. He concludes that scholarships are a scam, abandons the process entirely, and prepares to take out $60,000 in federal and private student loans. Now, I want you to completely shift your perspective. Imagine if David had bypassed the overcrowded national mainframes entirely and instead utilized a highly localized, deeply filtered matching algorithm. Imagine if, instead of competing against 100,000 students nationwide for a generic $10,000 prize, he competed against exactly 14 students in his specific county for a highly targeted $2,000 Community Foundation Award. This is the precise strategic pivot that separates the students who drown in debt from the students who secure fully funded tuition packages. The secret does not lie in how many applications you submit, but rather in the precise digital environment where you choose to submit them. To execute this strategy, we must master the art of the microniche database. The first step in this highly calibrated process is understanding how to build what financial aid professionals refer to as an asymmetrical applicant profile. When you log into a high-integrity, mid-tier scholarship platform, you are typically prompted to fill out an intake questionnaire. The fatal mistake 95% of high school students make at this exact moment is rushing through the demographic data entry. They input their age, their intended major, their current grade point average, and they immediately click search. By doing this, they instantly trigger the platform algorithm to feed them the broadest, most highly competitive national awards. Instead, you must treat your digital profile intake as a forensic audit of your entire life, your family history, and your specific regional footprint. The algorithms governing the most effective scholarship websites are explicitly designed to reward extreme specificity. You must systematically input every conceivable granular detail about your existence. Consider your parents' specific employment history, their corporate affiliations, their union memberships, and their military service backgrounds. Consider your own specific hobbies, ranging from amateur radio operation to specific linguistic proficiencies. Consider your own specific physical or learning challenges, as there are incredibly well-funded endowments specifically designed to support students navigating everything from documented dyslexia to specific visual impairments. Do not just state that you want to study engineering. Specify that you are aiming for civil engineering with a focus on sustainable urban development. Do not just list your primary state of residence. You must input your exact county, your specific zip code, and your municipal district. Why is this forensic level of detail so critical? Because across the United States in 2026, there are thousands of incredibly wealthy localized trusts, regional corporate endowments, and specific community foundations that have extremely rigid geographical and demographic disbursement mandates. For example, there might be a privately funded trust in your exact county mandated to disburse $5,000 annually to a high school senior pursuing a science degree, who also has a documented history of volunteering at a local animal shelter. If you only input general science into the search algorithm, you will never see this award. The platform will suppress it because you did not meet the hyper-specific matching criteria. But if you meticulously map out every single variable of your background, the algorithm goes to work for you, bypassing the national lotteries and pulling these hidden, low-competition regional awards directly to your dashboard. We have observed historical trends where students who spent an extra 3 hours painstakingly detailing their digital intake profiles increased their relevant, low-competition scholarship match rate by over 400%. This brings us to the actual platforms that facilitate this level of hyper-targeting. You cannot achieve this granular success on websites that prioritize advertising revenue over student success. You need platforms built on sophisticated, user-centric matching algorithms that actively penalize scholarship providers who attempt to harvest student data. We are talking about utilizing databases that require verified organizational credentials before a scholarship can even be listed, platforms that automatically scrub expired awards from their registries, and search engines that allow you to filter out sweeping national sweepstakes with a single click. But knowing these platforms exist is only a fraction of the battle. You have to know precisely how to manipulate their internal search parameters to expose the awards that are actively bleeding money because they cannot find enough applicants. There is a very specific digital gateway, a particular platform that currently stands as the absolute gold standard for this localized, highly asymmetric matching process. It is a database that entirely revolutionizes how local community boards interact with high school seniors, and if you do not have an active, fully optimized profile on this specific network by the end of this month, you are systematically locking yourself out of the highest probability funding sources available in the modern educational landscape. The architecture of this specific platform is brilliant, but it is also completely unforgiving if you set up your profile incorrectly. In fact, making one specific, incredibly common mistake during the initial registration phase on this site will permanently shadow ban your profile from seeing the most lucrative local awards, and you will never even realize it happened. Let us dive directly into what this platform is, how to bypass its most dangerous algorithmic trap, and how to instantly trigger its localized matching sequence. The platform we are meticulously deconstructing today is Going Merry. By the current year of 2026, Going Merry has fundamentally established itself as the absolute gold standard for scholarship aggregation, practically functioning as the common application for independent college financing. Unlike predatory, high-volume websites that generate their primary revenue by harvesting and selling your personal contact information to aggressive student loan refinancing corporations, this specific platform was engineered from the ground up to integrate directly with high school guidance counseling departments across the United States. This deeply structural difference is not just a convenient user interface feature. It is the core operational reason their database boasts some of the highest historical trends of legitimate, localized award disbursements in the entire educational sector. What exactly is the dangerous algorithmic trap I warned you about previously? It occurs almost invisibly during the initial onboarding and registration phase, specifically within the academic and extracurricular tagging system. When you first create your account, the platform actively prompts you to input your specific high school name and your local geographical zip code. The overwhelming majority of students simply type it in, blindly select the very first auto-populated option that appears on the drop-down menu, and immediately move on to the next screen. However, due to extensive regional district consolidations and massive database overlaps that have occurred leading up to 2026, there are frequently duplicate database entries for the exact same physical high school. One of these digital entries is thoroughly verified by your actual school administration, while the other is an entirely unverified, floating ghost profile completely disconnected from the localized community trust network. If you rush through this process and accidentally click the unverified ghost profile of your high school, you instantly and permanently sever your digital footprint from the localized matching sequence. You will completely miss the hyper-specific community foundation money that is routed exclusively through verified administrative portals. You will be essentially shadow banned from the most lucrative local tier of funding, relegated right back to the highly competitive, exhausting national applicant pool without ever receiving a single error message or warning notification. To systematically bypass this devastating trap, you must operate with surgical precision. You must actively cross-reference the exact centralized College Board high school identification code with your local guidance counselor before you finalize your profile registration. You must ensure that the institutional connection is fundamentally secure and accurately linked to the specific administrative portal of your physical building. Once you successfully establish that verified, cryptographically secure digital link to your actual high school, the platform matching algorithm fundamentally alters how it evaluates your profile. It immediately unlocks a hidden geographical fence, actively dropping Regional Chamber of Commerce awards, localized Rotary Club grants, specific county-level philanthropic endowments, and municipal merit scholarships directly onto your daily dashboard. Imagine if you were a student who possessed a deeply average academic record, perhaps maintaining a 2.9 grade point average, but you spent 3 consecutive years quietly volunteering at a local agricultural cooperative and learning complex sustainable farming techniques. If you utilize a massive, publicly marketed national search engine, your lower grade point average will automatically and ruthlessly filter you out of 90% of the available capital before a human being ever sees your name. But imagine if you utilize this verified, localized platform methodology. The algorithm precisely recognizes your exact county of residence, cross-references your hyper-specific agricultural volunteer tag, and immediately matches you with a highly targeted $4,000 grant funded by the Regional Farmers Union. This is an award that historically receives fewer than 5 complete applications per academic year, because it is so deeply hidden from the national public. The potential outcomes immediately flip from mathematically impossible to highly probable simply because you manipulated the geographical sorting parameters to your absolute advantage. Let us deeply analyze a highly specific case study from the current 2026 application cycle involving a United States high school senior named Michael. Michael resides in a mid-sized, heavily industrialized suburban district in Ohio. He initially spent 4 grueling months submitting over 70 individual applications on massive national sweepstakes websites. This tremendous exertion of energy resulted in $0 of actual funding and severe emotional and psychological burnout. We completely recalibrated his operational approach. We moved his entire application infrastructure directly to Going Merry, explicitly focusing on the localized administrative verification protocol. Michael painstakingly spent 4 hours filling out the extensive demographic questionnaire. He did not just list standard band participation as a generic extracurricular activity. He specifically documented his position as first chair woodwind in a state-recognized, competitively judged ensemble. He did not just list his intended college major as general business. He hyperspecified his intention to study regional supply chain logistics and industrial management. Within exactly 48 hours of successfully triggering the localized matching sequence, his digital dashboard populated with 3 distinct, highly localized, low-competition opportunities. One was a $2,500 award from a local manufacturing and logistics corporation, actively looking to foster regional talent to combat supply chain shortages. Another was a $1,500 grant from a localized community arts council specifically earmarked for public school musicians who demonstrate leadership. Because he was competing against a geographically restricted, heavily fenced pool of perhaps 20 other qualified local students rather than 100,000 national applicants, Michael successfully secured both awards. That is $4,000 of non-repayable, tax-free educational capital generated from just 2 highly targeted applications, all because he strategically positioned himself within a geographically fenced digital algorithm. To accurately replicate Michael's historical trends of localized success, you must execute a comprehensive, step-by-step profile optimization strategy that extends far beyond basic demographic data entry. First, you must completely audit your family financial need profile before inputting a single digit into any platform. Many localized community scholarships utilize the Federal Student Aid Index as a primary filtering mechanism. If you estimate this highly specific number incorrectly during your initial profile setup, you will systematically disqualify yourself for millions of dollars in localized need-based aid. Conversely, you could waste hundreds of hours applying for strictly need-based capital when your verified federal tax documents will ultimately and inevitably disqualify you during the final disbursement phase. You must sit down with your family's most recent tax returns and run a rigorous preliminary federal estimator tool before establishing your financial baseline parameters on any database. Secondly, you must ruthlessly exploit the platform's specific demographic and career aspiration tags using Boolean logic principles. These sophisticated databases utilize complex Boolean sorting to pair available capital with highly specific student candidates. If a local civil engineering firm wants to sponsor a first-generation college student pursuing mechanical engineering who also participates in varsity track and field, they input those precise, non-negotiable Boolean parameters directly into the platform sponsor portal. If your student profile is missing even one of those specific tags, you entirely vanish from their applicant pool. You become completely invisible to the money. Therefore, your digital profile must reflect absolute maximum informational density. You must thoroughly tag every single minor club affiliation, every weekend community volunteer initiative, every specific physical challenge or learning disability you are comfortable formally disclosing, and every highly nuanced facet of your family cultural heritage and employment history. The modern scholarship algorithm heavily rewards extreme, unapologetic disclosure. You have now successfully established a deeply verified, highly secure, localized digital footprint on the most powerful community-driven platform in the country. You are actively receiving targeted notifications for high-yield awards where your competition is systematically reduced from 100,000 desperate teenagers to maybe 15 local peers sitting in your own high school cafeteria. But there is a massive immediate secondary problem that arises the exact second you unlock this hidden vault of localized capital. You are going to be faced with highly specific, localized essay prompts that demand a completely different, highly nuanced writing architecture than the generic personal statements you typically submit to standard university admissions boards. If you lazily recycle your standard college admissions essay for a localized community foundation scholarship, the Regional Review Board will immediately recognize the blatant lack of specific community integration, and your application will be instantly discarded, regardless of your perfect grade point average or extensive volunteer history. You need a completely separate, highly engineered psychological writing framework designed exclusively for local philanthropic committees. And there is one specific essay structure, a deeply psychological formatting technique, that historically dominates these localized award selections year after year. If you do not utilize this specific narrative architecture, you are practically handing the localized funds directly to your classmates. How exactly do you construct this hyper-localized narrative? And what are the highly specific psychological triggers you must embed in the very first paragraph to ensure the local committee reads your application to the very end? To understand this hyper-localized narrative, and what are the highly specific psychological triggers you must embed in the very first paragraph to ensure the local committee reads your application to the very end, we must first deeply analyze the actual human being sitting on these review boards. When you submit an application to a massive national sweepstakes, your essay is frequently scanned by automated artificial intelligence software searching for basic keyword density, or it is skimmed by deeply fatigued junior readers who are paid minimum wage to process hundreds of identical, uninspired essays every single day. But when you successfully bypass the national databases and apply for a localized community scholarship through the optimized geographical fencing strategies we just established, your essay is physically printed out and read by a small, dedicated committee of local citizens. These review boards are typically comprised of retired public school administrators, the owners of the local hardware store, the board members of the regional Rotary Club, and the municipal philanthropic leaders who deeply, fiercely love their specific regional district. This fundamental shift in the audience requires an absolute, complete restructuring of your narrative approach. If you submit an essay detailing how your ultimate life goal is to abandon your hometown, conquer Wall Street, or become a massive international technology mogul living in Silicon Valley, you are instantly and permanently alienating the local committee. They do not want to fund your permanent escape from their community. They want to fund what financial aid strategists in 2026 refer to as a hometown return on investment. This is the single most critical psychological framework you must adopt to secure localized funding. The hometown return on investment framework is predicated on a very simple historical trend. Local money strongly prefers to stay local. The municipal trust dispensing the $2,000 award wants to clearly visualize how investing their limited capital into your education today will eventually pay compounding dividends back to their specific geographical area tomorrow. This brings us to the precise psychological triggers you must embed in the very first paragraph of your localized scholarship essay to instantly capture the review board. You cannot begin with a generic philosophical quote about the importance of education or a broad, sweeping statement about wanting to change the world. You must immediately anchor your narrative to the specific physical community you share with the readers. You execute this by deploying the hyperlocal diagnostic hook. In the first 3 to 4 sentences, you must identify a highly specific, undeniable localized problem, a unique community characteristic, or a regional economic deficit, and immediately position your future college degree as the ultimate, customized solution to that exact localized issue. You are not just studying nursing in a vacuum. You must state that you have personally observed the severe, documented shortage of pediatric care facilities in your specific county, and your long-term career objective is to return after graduation to establish a mobile pediatric clinic for underserved rural families in your exact zip code. You are not just aiming for a generic civil engineering degree. You must articulate that you have spent 18 years driving over the rapidly deteriorating infrastructure of the historic downtown district, and you intend to utilize your future education to modernize the municipal grid while explicitly preserving its architectural heritage. Let us deeply examine a highly detailed case study from the current 2026 application cycle to illustrate the sheer financial power of this specific narrative framework. Consider a high school senior named Sarah, navigating the college process in a heavily agricultural coastal county in Florida. Sarah initially drafted a highly generic, standardized essay about her deep love for the ocean, her generalized passion for reducing global carbon emissions, and her dream of working for a massive international environmental protection agency. While perfectly grammatical and well-intentioned, historical trends dictate that this essay would have been immediately placed in the rejection pile by the local community conservation trust. Why? Because it completely lacked a localized return on investment. The committee members want to protect their specific local coastline and their regional farming economy, not the abstract global ocean. We entirely restructured Sarah's opening paragraph using the hyperlocal diagnostic hook. Instead of discussing global warming in broad, sweeping strokes, her new essay immediately addressed the highly specific, deeply localized issue of agricultural phosphorus runoff currently suffocating the specific river estuary system located exactly 4 miles from the committee headquarters. She detailed her childhood memories of the estuary, highlighted the recent ecological decline utilizing local municipal data, and explicitly stated that her ultimate career objective was to earn an environmental engineering degree and return to that exact Florida county to implement sustainable water filtration systems for local citrus producers. The potential outcomes of this narrative shift were absolutely staggering. By hyper-focusing her ambition onto a localized pain point that the committee members actively experienced every single day, she transformed herself from an abstract teenager asking for a handout into a vital, highly necessary community asset. She secured the $3,000 award with unanimous committee approval, not because she was the most academically gifted applicant in her high school, but because she successfully deployed the hometown return on investment psychological framework to perfection. Imagine if you applied this exact same methodology to your own scholarship applications today. Imagine if, instead of submitting 70 copy-pasted generic essays to massive national databases and receiving 0 responses, you spent a single weekend crafting 5 intensely localized, deeply researched essays addressing the specific economic, social, or infrastructural needs of your own hometown. You are fundamentally changing the psychological dynamic from you passively asking them for money to you actively offering them a heavily subsidized solution to their own localized municipal problems. Once you have established this hook, you must meticulously structure the middle paragraphs of your essay to provide the technical evidence supporting your opening statement. If you claimed you want to solve the local nursing shortage, the middle paragraphs cannot be fluff. They must detail your current enrollment in advanced placement biology, your dedicated weekend volunteer hours at the regional assisted living facility, and your specific, documented conversations with local healthcare professionals. You must objectively prove to the committee that your hyperlocal diagnostic hook is not just a manipulative writing tactic, but a deeply ingrained, historically documented life path that you are already actively walking. Finally, the concluding paragraph of a localized scholarship essay must never simply restate your introduction. It must serve as a formal written contract of community reinvestment. You must explicitly state that the financial capital they provide today is the foundational seed money for the tremendous value you will return to the municipal district tomorrow. You must convey deep localized gratitude, not just for the potential award, but for the specific community infrastructure, the local teachers, and the regional mentors that raised you. This specific narrative architecture has been historically proven to systematically dominate local scholarship review boards because it perfectly aligns your individual educational ambition with the collective survival, prosperity, and pride of the specific geographical region funding the award. You now understand exactly how to manipulate the geographical fencing of localized platforms and precisely how to structure the psychological narrative required to extract the capital from local community boards. You have effectively mastered the localized tier of the 2026 scholarship landscape, positioning yourself leagues ahead of your peers. But localized community foundations are only one specific, relatively small sector of the massive, multi-billion-dollar educational funding ecosystem. Once you have systematically swept up the localized community awards, you must immediately pivot your operational strategy toward a completely different, significantly larger pool of capital that remains entirely hidden from 99% of American high school students. This next tier is not funded by small-town Rotary clubs, local retired teachers, or regional chambers of commerce. It is funded by massive multinational corporate conglomerates and highly specialized private foundations that utilize specific, demographic-gated digital databases to quietly disperse hundreds of millions of dollars in educational capital every single fiscal quarter. These corporate platforms do not care about your local town, and they do not care about your generic grade point average. They are searching for highly specific demographic profiles to fulfill their internal corporate diversity mandates, their specialized industry recruitment goals, and their specific philanthropic quotas. If you know exactly which specialized databases to access, and precisely how to structure your demographic tags, you can tap directly into massive corporate endowments that frequently cover full 4-year tuition costs, housing, and even study abroad stipends. But accessing these specialized corporate platforms requires a fundamentally different digital footprint and a completely different search strategy than the localized methodology we just executed. The next database infrastructure we are going to explore is heavily gated, completely invisible to standard search engines, and it holds the absolute largest, highest yield corporate awards currently available in the United States. What is this hidden corporate database? How does its internal matching algorithm function? And how do you systematically bypass the corporate gatekeepers to secure your massive share of this demographic-specific capital? To access this entirely different echelon of funding, we must first completely deconstruct how multinational corporations and massive private endowments actually process their philanthropic capital in the year 2026. When a Fortune 500 company, perhaps a massive aerospace manufacturer or a global financial institution, decides to allocate $20 million to educational initiatives, they absolutely do not build their own internal scholarship application websites. They do not have their own human resources department manually reading thousands of high school essays. Instead, they completely outsource the entire logistical operation to highly specialized, third-party back-end management platforms. These back-end platforms act as the digital gatekeepers for the absolute largest pools of corporate capital in the United States. While the average high school senior is desperately searching front-end consumer websites like FastWeb or standard publicly marketed directories, the sophisticated applicants are bypassing the consumer marketing entirely and creating centralized profiles directly on the vendor platforms that the megacorporations actually use. The most prominent, historically lucrative example of this back-end infrastructure is the Scholarship America Hub. Alongside specialized enterprise platforms like Kaleidoscope, these are not standard search engines. They are corporate disbursement portals, and understanding how to manipulate their internal tagging architecture is the single most lucrative skill you can develop in your financial aid journey. The internal matching algorithm of a corporate back-end platform functions on a completely different psychological and mathematical axis than a localized community foundation. A local Rotary Club wants a hometown return on investment, but a multinational corporation views you through the lens of early-stage talent acquisition and corporate social responsibility mandates. These organizations utilize highly specific demographic and academic gating to filter applicants. They are aggressively trying to fulfill internal diversity quotas, support highly specific science and technology initiatives, or build a pipeline of future employees in underrepresented geographic regions. Therefore, the algorithm does not just look at your grade point average, it rigorously scans your profile for hyperspecific demographic intersections. If a global logistics firm wants to fund 5 first-generation female college students pursuing supply chain management who also possess a bilingual proficiency in Spanish and English, they program those exact parameters into the Scholarship America database. If your digital profile lacks even one of those specific intersecting tags, you are systematically excluded from the applicant pool before the competition even begins. You must treat your demographic profile on these corporate platforms as a highly calibrated lock, and you must provide every single necessary key. Consider a highly illustrative case study from the current 2026 application landscape, involving a high school senior named Chloe. Chloe resides in a sprawling suburban district in Texas. She is a first-generation American, an exceptional mathematics student, and harbors a deep ambition to enter the rapidly expanding field of artificial intelligence ethics. Initially, Chloe spent months treating corporate scholarships like lotteries, throwing generic applications at highly publicized national tech grants and receiving absolute silence. Her potential outcomes were mathematically terrible because she was competing on the front-end consumer platforms against hundreds of thousands of other, highly qualified applicants. We completely overhauled her operational deployment. We bypassed the consumer sites and directly integrated her digital footprint into the Scholarship America Hub and the Kaleidoscope Enterprise Portal. We painstakingly constructed her demographic architecture. We did not just tag her as a female in a technology major. We layered multiple intersecting demographic realities: her status as a first-generation citizen, her specific socioeconomic bracket, utilizing historical federal tax estimator data, her bilingual status, and her hyperspecific intended major of machine learning ethics. Within exactly 72 hours, the back-end algorithm matched her with a massive, unadvertised $40,000 endowment funded by a global cybersecurity conglomerate. This specific cybersecurity corporation was experiencing a massive shortage of diverse, bilingual talent in their ethics department. They did not advertise this scholarship on television or social media. They quietly routed it through the back-end portal, utilizing the algorithm to find the exact demographic needle in the digital haystack. Because Chloe had precisely aligned her digital tags with their internal corporate recruitment mandates, she found herself competing against a microscopic pool of perhaps 30 highly qualified applicants nationwide, rather than 300,000 random students. The corporate review board was not looking for a heartwarming story about her hometown. They were looking for a future corporate asset. Her essay strictly detailed her rigorous analysis of algorithmic bias and her long-term strategy to implement ethical guardrails within large-scale data models. She spoke their exact corporate language, effectively positioning herself as a highly lucrative future return on their philanthropic investment. Historical trends show that when a student perfectly aligns their demographic reality with a corporate talent pipeline, their probability of securing major funding increases exponentially. Chloe successfully secured the $40,000 corporate grant, fundamentally altering her entire financial future simply by understanding how to navigate the back-end data architecture. Imagine if you completely abandoned the exhausting cycle of writing generic essays for overcrowded national sweepstakes, and instead treated yourself as a highly specialized, early-stage venture capital investment. Imagine if you meticulously audited your own demographic intersections, your heritage, your specific academic niches, your unique personal adversities, and your highly targeted career ambitions, and directly fed that data into the specific back-end portals that Fortune 500 companies utilize to distribute their massive wealth. You are no longer asking for charity. You are strategically aligning yourself with multi-million-dollar corporate recruitment initiatives. You must painstakingly comb through your profile and ensure you are not leaving any demographic variable unstated. Are you the dependent of a military veteran? Are you managing a specific type of documented health challenge? Are you pursuing a highly niche subset of environmental law? Every single one of these variables is a potential trigger for a massive, heavily gated corporate endowment that is desperately searching for someone with your exact profile to satisfy their annual philanthropic disbursement requirements. However, once you successfully infiltrate these back-end corporate databases and trigger the demographic matching sequences, you will immediately encounter a massive procedural hurdle. These sophisticated corporate endowments do not want to read another standard 500-word essay. They are completely fatigued by traditional text-based applications. In order to aggressively filter out the lazy applicants and identify the truly exceptional future assets, these multinational platforms have fundamentally changed the required submission format for their highest-tier awards. They have integrated a highly complex, multi-stage digital portfolio requirement that completely paralyzes the vast majority of high school students. They demand a very specific type of multimedia submission, a digital artifact that proves your competency far beyond what a traditional transcript can communicate. If you attempt to upload a basic resume or a standard introductory document, their automated screening software will instantly move your application to the rejection pile. You must engineer a completely different type of digital asset, one that utilizes specific psychological pacing and visual evidence to prove your future corporate value in under 90 seconds. What exactly is this mandatory digital portfolio? How do you construct it using completely free software available to every student in America? And what is the exact script framework you must follow to successfully bypass the final automated corporate screening process? The mandatory digital asset that has become the definitive gatekeeper for elite corporate scholarship funding in 2026 is the immersive proof of work portfolio. Large-scale corporate entities like Lockheed Martin, Google, and JP Morgan have largely moved away from the traditional model of reading static 500-word essays. They have recognized a significant historical trend. Written essays are increasingly prone to artificial intelligence generation and lack the authentic visual evidence required to confirm a student's actual competency. To combat this, these multinational platforms now require a digital artifact that provides undeniable, three-dimensional proof of your potential value. This is not a simple resume or a collection of high school awards. It is a structured multimedia narrative that bridges the gap between your academic transcript and your future corporate utility. Imagine you are an executive at a major renewable energy firm. You have a $50,000 scholarship endowment to award to one student. You are faced with two applicants. Applicant A has a perfect 4.0 grade point average and a beautifully written essay about their passion for the environment. Applicant B has a 3.6 grade point average but provides a digital link to a meticulously documented project where they designed, built, and tested a small-scale hydroelectric generator using recycled materials, providing actual data on its electrical output. In the corporate world of 2026, applicant B is the superior asset. They have provided proof of work. To construct this portfolio using completely free software, you must leverage platforms like Canva, Notion, or even a basic Google Sites page, but you must structure the content using the specific technical evidence framework. This framework requires you to break down every single major extracurricular activity or academic achievement into three distinct layers: the problem, the methodology, and the quantified result. If you were the president of the robotics club, do not just state your title. You must provide a visual breakdown of the specific engineering challenge your team faced, the precise methodology and software you used to iterate on the design, and the quantified result of your performance in regional competitions. You must include high-resolution photographs of your prototypes, screenshots of your code, or scanned copies of your project blueprints. This level of granular detail acts as a cryptographic signature of authenticity that automated corporate screening software is specifically programmed to recognize and prioritize. Let us analyze a case study involving a student named Marcus from Charlotte, North Carolina. Marcus was applying for a prestigious corporate scholarship in the field of financial technology. He knew that thousands of other students would be submitting essays about their interest in economics. To differentiate himself, Marcus utilized a free Notion template to build a digital portfolio titled the Marcus Thompson FinTech Development Log. Instead of just talking about his interest in finance, he documented a 6-month period where he participated in a virtual stock market simulation, detailing his specific investment thesis for every trade, the technical indicators he monitored, and the percentage-based potential outcomes of his portfolio compared to the S&P 500. He even included a screen-recorded video explaining the logic behind a specific risk management strategy he developed. When the corporate selection committee at a major global bank opened his application, they did not see a high school student. They saw a junior analyst who already understood the operational language of their industry. Marcus did not win because he was the smartest person in the room. He won because he provided the most compelling visual evidence of his future corporate value. The exact script framework you must follow for the video component of this digital portfolio is known as the 90-second value proposition. Corporate recruiters in 2026 have an average attention span for initial screenings of less than 2 minutes. Your video must be lean, professional, and devoid of any fluff. The first 15 seconds must be the executive summary. State your name, your hyper-specific field of study, and the primary problem you are currently obsessed with solving. The next 45 seconds must be the technical deep dive. Show, do not just tell, the work you have already done. Use your phone to record a voiceover while you scroll through your project files, your art portfolio, or your research data. The final 30 seconds must be the strategic alignment. Explicitly explain how the specific corporation's funding will act as the catalyst to scale your current projects into real-world industrial solutions. This script structure bypasses the emotional fatigue of the reviewer and delivers the high-density information they need to justify awarding you a massive financial endowment. Once you have mastered the proof of work portfolio, you have successfully conquered the second tier of the scholarship ecosystem. You have moved from the localized community grants to the massive, multinational corporate endowments. But there is a third, even more elusive tier of scholarship websites that function entirely differently. This tier is not based on your geography, and it is not based on your demographic profile. It is based on a concept known as the micromeritocratic challenge. There is a cluster of websites in 2026 that host high-stakes, competition-based scholarships where the money is awarded based on a single, intense performance or a specific technical submission. These platforms are where the absolute highest-paying awards live. Awards that can cover the entire cost of a 4-year private university education in a single stroke. These sites do not care about your past. They care about what you can produce in the next 72 hours. They are the digital arenas for the most ambitious high school students in America. However, these platforms are notoriously difficult to find because they do not use standard SEO keywords like scholarship or financial aid. They use highly specialized industry terminology to fly under the radar of the general public, ensuring that only the most dedicated and resourceful students ever find the entry portal. If you are not looking for the specific code words, you will walk right past millions of dollars without ever knowing it existed. What are these hidden micromeritocratic platforms? What are the secret keywords you need to use to find their current open challenges? And how do you prepare for a 72-hour scholarship sprint that could potentially eliminate your entire college debt before you even graduate high school? The stakes in this third tier are astronomical, but the methodology for winning is completely counterintuitive. You are about to enter a world where your grade point average is irrelevant, and your extracurricular list is ignored. It is a pure, raw competition of skill, and the organizations behind these challenges are some of the most powerful and secretive foundations in the global economy. To win here, you need to understand the psychology of the high-stakes challenge, a strategy used by elite innovators to secure funding in the private sector, adapted specifically for the 2026 scholarship market. If you have the stamina for this level of competition, the potential outcomes will redefine what you thought was possible for your academic career. Let us peel back the curtain on the hidden world of meritocratic competition platforms. The hidden world of meritocratic competition platforms operates on a philosophy that is diametrically opposed to the rest of the scholarship industry. While most platforms ask who you are and where you come from, these elite portals only ask one thing: what can you build right now? By the current year of 2026, a new category of websites has emerged that functions more like a professional hackathon or a creative decathlon than a traditional financial aid site. These are the platforms where the largest, most prestigious private foundations in the United States, such as the Peter Thiel Foundation, the Gates Millennium Scholars Program, and the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation, host high-stakes challenges that can eliminate the entire cost of a 4-year private university education in a single stroke. To find these, you must stop searching for scholarships and start searching for terms like innovation challenges, collegiate design competitions, and merit-based fellowships. The primary platform dominating this space in 2026 is challenge.gov for federal-level academic prizes, alongside private sector equivalents like HeroX and MindSumo. These sites host challenges where corporations or government agencies post a complex problem and offer massive financial awards to any student who can provide a viable solution. For example, the Department of Energy might post a $10,000 prize for the most efficient urban water filtration design, or a major technology firm might offer $20,000 to the student who can write the most efficient algorithm to solve a specific data bottleneck. These are not lotteries. They are pure raw meritocracies. Historical trends show that the applicant pools for these challenges are significantly smaller than national scholarships because the barrier to entry is high. Most students are too intimidated to even try, which is exactly why the potential outcomes for those who do participate are so astronomical. Imagine a high school junior named Anthony living in Phoenix, Arizona. Anthony is not at the top of his class, and he does not have a long list of traditional extracurricular activities. However, Anthony is a self-taught coder who spends his free time in specialized online forums. Instead of applying for a generic $500 essay scholarship, Anthony discovers a merit-based challenge on a specialized platform hosted by a major aerospace firm. The challenge is to design a simplified user interface for a satellite tracking system. Anthony ignores the traditional college application process for 1 week. He enters a 72-hour scholarship sprint. He utilizes a free version of an industry-standard design software, records a screen share of his prototype, and writes a technical white paper explaining his logic. Because he is competing against only 45 other students who had the technical courage to enter, rather than 45,000 who clicked a button on a sweepstakes site, Anthony secures a $15,000 merit prize. The company is so impressed that they also offer him a paid internship for the following summer. This is the power of the micromeritocratic tier. Anthony bypassed the entire system by proving his competency in a high-stakes environment. To successfully navigate these 72-hour scholarship sprints, you must adopt an elite innovator mindset. First, you need to set up highly specific search alerts for the secret keywords mentioned earlier. In 2026, the most effective way to do this is to use advanced search operators on specialized academic databases. You should be looking for annual prize competitions or student innovation awards. These are often hosted by professional organizations like the American Society of Civil Engineers or the American Chemical Society. These organizations have massive endowments specifically for high school students, but they rarely market them on traditional scholarship websites because they want to attract students who are already engaged with their specific industry. Second, you must build a modular competition kit. Because these challenges move incredibly fast, you cannot start from scratch every time. You need a pre-organized digital library containing your most impressive previous work, your technical certifications, and a highly polished template for technical white papers. When a new 72-hour challenge is posted, you should be able to spend the first 12 hours strictly on research, the next 36 hours on execution, and the final 24 hours on the multimedia presentation of your solution. This level of operational efficiency is what separates the winners from the participants. We have observed case studies where students who participated in just 3 of these high-stakes challenges per year were able to secure more funding than students who submitted over 100 traditional essay applications. Furthermore, you must understand the psychology of the evaluation committees for these merit-based prizes. They are not looking for well-rounded students. They are looking for spikes. In the world of elite funding, a spike is a specific area where your talent is far beyond the average for your age. If you are a brilliant mathematician, do not try to look like a varsity athlete or a community leader in these applications. Lean entirely into your mathematical spike. Use the most advanced terminology in your field. Provide the most complex data visualizations. The goal here is to prove that you are an elite asset in a specific niche. This is why these platforms are so effective for students who may not fit the traditional mold of a straight-A student, but possess deep, specialized skills in a specific area. But there is a catch. Engaging with these high-stakes meritocratic platforms requires a level of digital security and organizational discipline that most high schoolers lack. Because these challenges often involve interacting with corporate intellectual property or government databases, you must ensure that your digital footprint is professional and secure. One simple mistake in how you submit your data or a single unprofessional post on a linked social media account can result in an instant, automated disqualification. These platforms utilize sophisticated background screening tools that scan your entire public digital history the moment you click submit. If you have not performed a deep clean of your digital presence, you are walking into a trap. You have now mastered the localized community grants, the back-end corporate portals, and the elite meritocratic challenges. You have the tools to tap into 3 distinct tiers of funding that the average student does not even know exist. But there is one final massive hurdle that can still dismantle your entire strategy at the very last second. Even if you win $50,000 in private scholarships, there is a legal and financial mechanism used by university financial aid offices across the United States, known as scholarship displacement. This is the controversial practice where a university reduces your institutional financial aid by the exact amount of any private scholarship you win. If you do not know how to identify the specific scholarship websites that offer displacement-protected awards, or if you do not know the exact legal language to use when communicating with a university bursar's office, your hard-earned scholarship money could end up staying in the university's pocket instead of yours. How do you protect your funds from being snatched away by the university? Which specific platforms are legally shielded from displacement? And what is the one specific document you must demand from a scholarship provider to ensure your money actually reduces your bill? The answer involves a little-known federal regulation and a very specific type of scholarship agreement that most students never think to ask for until it is too late. To navigate the treacherous waters of scholarship displacement, we must first confront a systemic reality that most high school counselors never mention. Scholarship displacement is the industry term for when a university reduces its own institutional aid, the grants and scholarships they initially offered you, because you were successful enough to win a private outside award. Imagine a student named Jordan in 2026. Jordan works tirelessly to win a $5,000 award from a local engineering firm. He proudly reports this to his university financial aid office, expecting his bill to drop by $5,000. Instead, the university simply removes $5,000 of their own institutional grant money. The potential outcomes for Jordan are devastating. His net cost remains exactly the same, and his hard work effectively served as a donation to the university's endowment rather than a reduction of his personal debt. In 2026, this practice remains legal in many states, though a growing movement of legislative reform is beginning to shift the historical trends in favor of the student. To protect your funds, you must identify scholarship websites and providers that explicitly offer displacement-protected awards or utilize what is known as a cost of attendance gap filler clause. Some of the highest integrity scholarship platforms, such as the Dell Scholars Program or the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation, have built-in legal protections and administrative protocols to combat this. When you are browsing a scholarship website, you must look for their specific policy on institutional displacement. High-tier providers will often mandate that their funds must be used to first reduce the student's self-help portion of their financial aid package, meaning your student loans and work-study requirements, before the university is permitted to touch their own grants. There is a specific legal mechanism you can use to defend your money, and it starts with the one document you must demand: the scholarship provider's award letter with a restrictive endorsement. This isn't just a congratulatory note. It is a formal directive to the university bursar. This document should explicitly state that the funds are intended to meet the student's unmet financial need, or to replace the expected student loan contribution. If a university attempts to displace your aid, you must be prepared to engage in a formal appeal process. In this scenario, you would present your restrictive endorsement and cite the specific intent of the donor. By the year 2026, several states, including Maryland, Pennsylvania, and California, have passed specific legislation that strictly limits or outright bans scholarship displacement at public universities. If you reside in or are attending a university in one of these states, you have a powerful legal shield. You must cite these specific state statutes in your communications with the financial aid office. Imagine if every student understood the power of the cost of attendance gap. Most universities only provide enough financial aid to cover tuition, room, and board. However, your total cost of attendance includes books, a personal laptop, transportation, and even basic living expenses. If your private scholarship is designated for these specific non-billable expenses, the university has a much harder time justifying the displacement of your tuition grants. When you are applying on platforms like Scholarship America or through localized community foundations, you should specifically ask the provider if they can designate their funds for educational expenses beyond tuition. This simple administrative pivot can save you thousands of dollars that would otherwise be absorbed by the institution. Beyond the technicalities of displacement, there is a secondary, equally vital layer to securing your financial future: the strategy of scholarship stacking. This is the art of utilizing specific websites that specialize in micro-awards that are designed to be layered on top of each other. While many students chase the one big $10,000 award, the most successful students in 2026 are focusing on websites like bold.org or RaiseMe. These platforms allow you to earn micro-scholarships for specific achievements throughout high school. On RaiseMe, you can earn money for getting an A in a core class, for visiting a college campus, or even for maintaining a high grade point average over several semesters. These awards are unique because they are often pre-committed by the universities themselves. This means the money is integrated into your financial aid package from day one, significantly reducing the risk of displacement. Let us look at a case study involving a student named Maya from Chicago. Maya didn't wait until her senior year to start her search. Starting in her sophomore year, she used microscholarship platforms to document her progress. By the time she was a senior, she had stacked over $12,000 in micromerit aid from 4 different universities she was interested in. When she finally chose her school, that money was already waiting for her. She didn't have to worry about displacement because the university had already factored those awards into her initial offer. This proactive stacking strategy is a fundamental shift from the reactive application cycle most students follow. It requires a long-term commitment to maintaining a digital presence on these platforms, but the historical trends show it is one of the most reliable ways to ensure your financial aid package is robust and protected. To maximize your success on stacking platforms, you must understand the concept of the achievement trigger. These websites use algorithms that scan your profile for new data points. Every time you finish a semester, every time you take a standardized test, and every time you join a new club, you must update your profile immediately. This triggers the algorithm to match you with new micro-awards that were previously hidden. In 2026, these platforms have become so sophisticated that they can even offer awards for specific career pathway milestones, such as completing a certified online course in Python or gaining a first aid certification. By treating your scholarship profile as a living, breathing document of your growth, you create a continuous stream of funding opportunities that grow in value as you move closer to graduation. However, even with the best stacking strategy and the strongest displacement protections, there is a final psychological barrier that stops most students from reaching the finish line. It is the exhaustion of the final mile. As you enter the late spring of your senior year, the sheer volume of paperwork, emails, and deadlines can lead to critical errors. One missed email from a scholarship provider asking for a final transcript can result in the total forfeiture of an award you worked months to win. To survive this, you need a scholarship management system that functions like a professional project management office. You need to move beyond simple spreadsheets and embrace automated tracking tools that are specifically designed for the 2026 educational market. You have now built a fortress around your funding. You know how to find the money, how to win it, and how to keep it from being taken by the university. You are in the top 1% of informed applicants. But there is one final secret: a strategy so powerful that it can turn even a rejected application into a future funding source. This is the strategy of the professional pivot, and it involves a very specific way of interacting with scholarship donors after the winners are announced. Most students who lose a scholarship simply move on and never think about that organization again. But the elite students know that a rejection is actually a hidden door to an entirely different pool of capital that never appears on any website. This is the world of the non-selected finalist grants and the donor-advised contingency funds. How do you turn a no into a $5,000 yes? And what is the exact 3-sentence email that can trigger a donor to open up their secret contingency fund just for you? This final maneuver is the ultimate insurance policy for your college funding, and it requires a level of professional maturity that will set you apart from every other applicant in the country. The professional pivot is a strategy that operates on a fundamental truth of the 2026 philanthropic landscape. Organizations do not just give money to ideas, they give money to people they believe in. When a scholarship committee reaches the final stage of their selection process, they often find themselves torn between 3 or 4 equally exceptional candidates for a single award. While only one name is announced as the primary winner, the other finalists have already passed through the most rigorous vetting filters. They are, for all intents and purposes, exactly the kind of student the organization wants to support. In many cases, these organizations actually have secondary, unadvertised pools of capital known as donor-advised contingency funds or non-selected finalist grants. These funds are not listed on any scholarship website and are often reserved for administrative discretion. However, 99% of students who receive a rejection letter immediately go silent, effectively closing the relationship. By executing a professional pivot, you are the only one staying in the room when the lights go down. Consider the case study of a student named Elias from Seattle, navigating the current 2026 cycle. Elias was a national finalist for a prestigious $10,000 technology scholarship. He spent weeks on the application and the interview, only to receive an email stating that while his profile was incredible, the committee had chosen another candidate. Instead of disappearing, Elias waited exactly 48 hours and sent a meticulously crafted response. He did not ask for money. He did not complain. Instead, he thanked the committee for the opportunity, identified one specific piece of feedback he gained during the interview process, and asked if there were any other ways he could stay involved with their mission or if they could recommend other organizations that value his specific skill set in sustainable urban data modeling. This professional maturity triggered a secondary review of his file. 2 weeks later, the organization informed Elias that a board member was so impressed by his follow-up that they were authorizing a one-time $2,500 finalist stipend from their discretionary fund. This was money that didn't technically exist on the website, but it was unlocked by the simple act of maintaining a professional relationship post-rejection. To execute this, you must understand the exact 3-sentence email framework that triggers this response. Sentence 1 must be an expression of genuine, specific gratitude for the time the committee invested in reviewing your work. Sentence 2 must be a statement of continued commitment. You must clarify that your project or your career goal remains unchanged regardless of the award outcome. Sentence 3 is the strategic inquiry. You ask for a brief recommendation on other professional networks or smaller localized funds they might be aware of that align with your profile. This third sentence is the psychological key. It positions you as a high-value asset seeking guidance, rather than a petitioner seeking a handout. In the world of high-level philanthropy, this is known as an affinity signal. It tells the donor that you are part of their tribe, and historical trends suggest that donors are far more likely to find extra money for someone they perceive as a future peer. Beyond the pivot, you must also master the final logistical hurdle of the scholarship season: the high-speed administrative audit. By May of 2026, most high school seniors are suffering from decision fatigue. This is the exact moment when the largest amount of scholarship money is actually lost due to simple administrative negligence. Many awards are conditional. They require you to maintain a certain grade point average, submit a final high school transcript by a hard deadline, or provide proof of enrollment from your chosen university. If you miss one of these windows, the automated disbursement systems used by large platforms like FastWeb or the College Board will instantly cancel the check and move those funds back into the general endowment. You must move your operation from a search-based strategy to a compliance-based strategy. Imagine if you treated your scholarship portfolio like a small business. A small business does not rely on memory. It relies on a centralized compliance calendar. You should be utilizing specialized educational project management tools to track the post-win requirements of every dollar you have secured. For example, if you won a $2,000 award from a local credit union, you must document the exact date they require your fall semester schedule. If you won a corporate grant, you must know if they require a mid-year progress report. Failure to comply with these minor administrative details is the leading cause of scholarship forfeiture in the United States. We have seen case studies where students lost over $15,000 in combined aid simply because they failed to check a secondary email account during the first week of July. Furthermore, you must prepare for the mid-college search. One of the biggest myths in the scholarship world is that the hunt ends when you graduate high school. In reality, some of the most lucrative and least competitive scholarships are only available to students who are already enrolled in a specific university department. These are known as departmental or continuing student scholarships. Once you have used the websites we discussed to secure your freshman year funding, you must immediately begin scouting the internal portals of your specific college. For example, A university's Department of Mechanical Engineering often has its own private endowments that are only accessible to sophomores and juniors. Because the applicant pool is restricted only to students in that specific major at that specific school, the win rates are significantly higher than anything you will find on a national search engine. To maximize this, you must develop a relationship with your departmental administrative assistant. These individuals are the true gatekeepers of university-specific money. They are the ones who receive the emails from alumni looking to fund a specific type of student. If they know your name and your story, they will often forward you opportunities before they are even posted on the university's general financial aid page. This is the internal track of scholarship hunting. It requires you to be physically present and professionally engaged once you arrive on campus. You are now standing at the summit of the scholarship world. You have the localized strategy, the corporate back-end access, the meritocratic competition skills, the displacement protections, and the professional pivot maneuvers. You have successfully built a financial engine that can power your entire 4-year degree. But there is one final overarching element that ties this entire masterclass together. It is the transition from being a scholarship seeker to becoming a brand. In 2026, the students who win the most money are not the ones with the best grades. They are the ones who have successfully curated a digital identity that makes them look like a safe and high-yield investment for any organization. This is the final layer of the strategy, the construction of your permanent scholar brand. This brand will not only pay for your college but will follow you into your first professional career, attracting fellowships, internships, and even venture capital. How do you consolidate everything you have done into a single unbreakable digital identity that makes you the obvious choice for every board of directors in the country? We are about to enter the final phase where we turn your individual applications into a lifelong engine of opportunity. What is the final secret platform that every elite scholar uses to host their brand? And how do you launch it in the next 24 hours to lock in your future? The final secret platform that has become the indispensable command center for every elite American scholar in 2026 is LinkedIn. While most high school students mistakenly view this platform as a corporate wasteland reserved for mid-career professionals and recruiters, the most successful scholarship applicants have recognized a massive shift in historical trends. Scholarship committees, especially those managing high-value private endowments and corporate fellowships, now utilize LinkedIn as their primary secondary verification tool. The moment you submit a high-stakes application, the first action a sophisticated reviewer takes is not rereading your essay. It is typing your name into a search engine to see if your digital identity matches your written claims. If they find a blank profile or worse, an unprofessional social media trail, your application is immediately flagged. But if they find a meticulously curated professional scholar brand, you have effectively closed the loop on their decision-making process. To launch your permanent scholar brand in the next 24 hours, you must move beyond the basic setup and implement the architectural profile strategy. This involves 3 high-density components: the social proof headline, the narrative summary, and the featured evidence vault. Your headline cannot simply say high school student. In 2026, you must utilize a value-forward headline that identifies your niche and your trajectory. For example, a student named Derek from Austin might use the headline, aspiring civil engineer and urban sustainability researcher, recipient of the 2025 Regional Innovation Prize. This immediately signals to any visiting scholarship donor that you are a high-value asset with a documented history of success. The narrative summary is where you deploy the final psychological anchor. Instead of a dry list of facts, you must write a first-person narrative that connects your past achievements to your future societal contributions. This is where you reiterate the hometown return on investment and the technical proof of work themes we have mastered throughout this masterclass. You are telling the world exactly why you are a safe and high-yield investment. Finally, the featured evidence vault is where you pin your digital portfolio, your 90-second value proposition video, and any PDF copies of local news articles or award certificates you have earned. This creates a self-sustaining ecosystem of credibility that works for you 24 hours a day, even while you are sleeping. Consider a final case study involving a student named Juliana. Juliana was a finalist for a massive national leadership fellowship that offered a full-ride scholarship to any university in the United States. The competition was brutal, with over 50,000 applicants for only 100 spots. Juliana had optimized her LinkedIn profile months in advance. She consistently posted brief, professional updates about her volunteer work, shared interesting articles related to her field of study in biomedical ethics, and engaged respectfully with the posts of industry leaders. When the selection committee performed their final due diligence, they didn't just see Juliana's application. They saw a living, breathing professional who was already contributing to the global conversation in her field. Historical trends show that committees are significantly more comfortable awarding large sums of money to students who demonstrate this level of professional maturity. Juliana did not just win the scholarship. She secured a network of mentors and potential employers who began following her journey before she even stepped onto a college campus. Now, imagine if you took everything we have discussed in this 10-part deep dive and consolidated it into a single, aggressive execution plan. Imagine if you spent the next 24 hours cleaning your digital footprint, the next 48 hours building your localized and corporate backend profiles, and the next week drafting your hyper-localized narrative essays. You are no longer just a student hoping for a break. You are the CEO of your own educational funding corporation. You are utilizing the exact same data-driven strategies that major firms use to secure capital. You are manipulating algorithms, bypassing gatekeepers, and building a brand that is too professional to ignore. The potential outcomes of this level of dedication are not just measured in dollars and cents. They are measured in freedom. When you graduate from college without the crushing weight of six-figure debt, you are not just a degree holder. You are a free agent. You can choose the job that fulfills you rather than the one that pays the highest interest rate. You can start a business, travel the world, or invest in your community without the constant, looming shadow of a student loan servicer. This is the true promise of the masterclass. It is not just about finding the best scholarship websites. It is about reclaiming your future from a system designed to monetize your ambition. To maintain this momentum, you must implement the 90-day scholarship cycle. The hunt for capital does not end in April of your senior year. You must set a recurring calendar event every 90 days throughout your entire college career to refresh your profiles, search for new departmental awards, and reach out to your previous donors with professional updates. This ensures that you are always at the front of the line when new contingency funds or regional grants become available. You are building a lifelong engine of opportunity that will serve you during your undergraduate years, through your graduate studies, and into your first major career milestones. We have covered a staggering amount of ground in this session. We analyzed the deceptive nature of national sweepstakes and the immense power of localized geographical fencing. We deconstructed the back-end corporate portals like Scholarship America and Kaleidoscope, and we mastered the demographic tagging required to trigger their algorithms. We learned the psychological framework of the hometown return on investment and the technical architecture of the proof of work portfolio. We explored the high-stakes world of meritocratic challenges and built a defensive shield against scholarship displacement. Finally, we learned the professional pivot maneuver and the art of building a permanent scholar brand on LinkedIn. The information you now possess is the result of years of analyzing historical trends and successful case studies in the American educational system. It is a level of insight that is typically reserved for elite private consultants who charge thousands of dollars for college prep. You have it all for free. But information without execution is merely a distraction. The digital gates are open, the funds are sitting in dormant accounts, and the committees are waiting for an applicant who finally knows how to speak their language. You have the map. You have the tools. You have the strategy. The only variable left in this equation is your own relentless effort. The current year of 2026 presents more opportunities for non-repayable educational capital than at any other point in history, but only for the students who are willing to treat the search like a professional career. It is time to stop being a passive participant in the student loan crisis and start being an active architect of your own financial independence. Go to the websites, build the profiles, write the essays, and secure the future that you have already proven you are capable of achieving. Your debt-free journey does not start when you graduate. It starts the moment you click the first registration button on your first vetted scholarship portal. The masterclass is complete. Now the work begins.